The Argenta Outdoor Dining District, which was established in June of 2020, is open 7 days a week. It's open 7 days a week. There are bars like Flyway. Woodworking, 3D printing, laser cutting, and screen printing. Utilities are about 5,000 per. I'm sure craft beer locations and several other eateries. These cities are like twins, with Little Rock being the oldest people if you spend some time in the play theater. Baseball games, minor league baseball games. But North Little Rock Hey guys, welcome back to the YouTube channel. This is Nick Stewart once again with Living in Central Arkansas, and I'm a real estate agent here in Central Arkansas. So I was looking at my previous videos and I noticed that the pros and cons of Little Rock video has just taken off in comparison to my other videos. So I thought, hey, why not talk about North Little Rock as well? So today we're going to talk about the pros and cons of living in North Little Rock, Arkansas, right after the intro. If you currently live in North Little Rock, or you're thinking about moving to the area, you're going to want to watch this video all the way through, because we're going to go over the 5 pros of living in North Little Rock, and I'm also going to give you 5 cons of living here as well. Now, as a disclaimer, there are some things that I'm not at liberty to discuss, which is what a lot of people want to know, which are things like crime rate, quality of schools, the type of people that live there, and things like that. As a realtor, there are things like equal housing laws and steering that I have to avoid discussing. I'm not trying to get in trouble with the local board. So I hope you take that into consideration when watching this video. And I really appreciate you all for understanding. And we're going to throw in some comparisons to Little Rock, Arkansas, which, as you know, is just south of the Arkansas River. If you enjoy this video, don't forget to hit subscribe. And also, do me a favor and hit the like button so we can work the YouTube algorithm a bit. That way, YouTube will get this video in front of the people who want to know more about living in the area. It also lets me know what kind of content I need to upload to the channel. We are just over 100 subs, and I appreciate everyone for subscribing. All right, now let's get to it. Now here are some pros. If you like diverse entertainment, North Little Rock might be the place for you. There's tons of entertainment in North Little Rock. They're big on arts and culture. If you love visiting historic districts, the Argenta Arts District is the place. It's one of the oldest neighborhoods in the city. There are several art galleries and organizations like the Art Foundation and the Argenta Community Theater. The Argenta Outdoor Dining District, which was established in June of 2020, is open 7 days a week from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. and offers outdoor dining, allowing visitors to socially distance and still enjoy food, drinks, and entertainment. There are bars like Flyway Brewing and Brewed in Barley, and there are restaurants such as Reno's Argenta Cafe and Restaurante Capello. You can catch minor league baseball games at Dickey Stevens Park, and there's even co-working spaces like the Innovation Hub. At the Innovation Hub, you can learn things like pottery, welding, woodworking, 3D printing, laser cutting, and screen printing. There's just so much to do in North Little Rock, even though the population is quite smaller than other cities. The number 2 pro on this list is that if you love a city that has low cost of living, then North Little Rock is definitely the place for you. Now, bestplaces.net rates the cost of living in North Little Rock almost 25% lower than the national average and over 20% lower than the state of Arkansas. The cost of food is almost 17% lower. Healthcare is about 14% lower. The median home price is about $140,000 lower, and utilities are about 5% lower. Now, those are great statistics if you're considering what the cost of living is expected to be. If you currently live in another state, this is definitely worth noting when considering relocation. Arkansas is overall lower than the national average, but North Little Rock, in comparison, definitely punches above its weight. Now, number 3, the job market is also growing. The job market in North Little Rock has always been on the positive, and it's risen about 3.5% over the last 10 years. The current unemployment rate is at 4%, which is average, but it's slightly higher than the national rate, which is 3.7%. It's expected to grow about 30% in upcoming years. Now, out of the top 50 major companies in Pulaski County, some of the big employers in North Little Rock include Union Pacific Railroad Company, the North Little Rock School District, Maverick Transportation, Pulaski Technical College, L'Oreal USA, Glazers Distribution, and ArcBest. If you're looking to relocate for employment, these are some of the best in the area. And you also have plenty of other companies in different sectors to choose from. Yeah, if you're looking to live in a town where the commute to other places is short, then North Little Rock might be the place for you. The commute to other towns is unmatched. The commute to Little Rock can be less than 5 minutes. There are several other towns like Sherwood, Jacksonville, and Cabot that are shorter as well. The good part about living in North Little Rock is that you're right in the middle of Pulaski County, and traveling should only be about 30 minutes in either direction. You can travel as far as Cabot, and you can get to Benton, Arkansas in that amount of time. Now next, if you enjoy the idea of Southern hospitality and sense of community, then again, North Little Rock might be the place for you. The city has an amazing appeal for families, scenic views, parks, and the people are great. It's a small town, but it has a city feel. You'll generally have a good interaction with locals, so that in itself is an advantage over other big cities in America. People will treat you like family because businesses thrive on being community focused. Now, I'm sure this is probably the most important thing when choosing a place to live, and if you want that city feel of Little Rock without the hustle and bustle of a larger town, then North Little Rock is definitely the right place for you. Now let's turn our focus on some of the cons of living in North Little Rock. I'm sure you're wondering what kind of cons it has, and yes, there are some. There are cons for every place in the US, pretty much. Number one, if you don't have a diverse palate, you might not enjoy the food choices in North Little Rock. Now, one thing I can tell you about North Little Rock is that it has a numerous selection of restaurants, craft beer locations, and several other eateries. If you're used to eating certain foods, or your diet doesn't allow you to eat food from a diversity of cultures, then North Little Rock might not be the place to live. There's so much in this area regarding places to eat. You have everything from American to Asian, Italian, seafood, Mediterranean, and Mexican foods. You have donuts, bakeries, fast food, bars and breweries, and even dog-friendly places. There are nearly 75 restaurants that serve a variety of foods. So if you're used to going to places like McDonald's or Taco Bell, then you might be a little overwhelmed with the availability of different restaurants. Number two, if you enjoy rural living, you might not be interested in living in North Little Rock. Now, North Little Rock is a small town, but it has a city feel. You'll find plenty of culture in such a small town, and it won't feel so desolate. If you're used to rural, farm, and hunting types of communities, then North Little Rock might not be the place for you. There are places outside of the city that offer these types of interests, but the bulk of amenities in North Little Rock cater to those that want the city feel without feeling like you're hustling to get around from place to place. There are still areas where you can fish like Burns Park and Camp Lake Park, but you won't find many areas to hunt. Now the next thing is that North Little Rock plays second hand to Little Rock. These cities are like twins, with Little Rock being the oldest of the two. Most people spend more time in Little Rock to socialize, eat, and drink. Most people from North Little Rock travel to Little Rock to experience the nightlife and attractions. Little Rock is also significantly bigger than North Little Rock, and usually you don't see much North Little Rock exposure in the news and media. So if you enjoy lots of exposure and you want to know what's going on in your town, you might not enjoy North Little Rock. But if you're into more of a community feel where everything is tight-knit, you might like it here. Now next, if you don't enjoy friendly people, you might not be interested in North Little Rock. One thing that attracts people to North Little Rock is the community it serves. If you're used to bigger cities like Memphis or Dallas, you might be in a culture shock if you're relocating to North Little Rock. People are usually attracted to places where everyone is cordial and friendly no matter their differences. North Little Rock, in comparison to Little Rock, attracts people because of its hometown feel. And the communities just north frequently come to North Little Rock for this reason as well. Places like Sherwood, Jacksonville, and Cabot contribute to the community. You'll find there's a huge difference in the people if you spend some time in these places. And last but not least of the cons of living in North Little Rock is winters can get very cold. Summers get humid. Now, North Little Rock's temperature is obviously very similar to Little Rock. Winter, while it does last long, has periods of time when the weather may stay cold for weeks. You can bet that you'll wake up to temperatures below 20 degrees at times with highs around 40 or 50. This can last for weeks at a time. During the winter, the temp goes up and down. Some days it's mid-60s and some days it doesn't get above 40. Nights are usually 20 to 30 degrees. So if you like places that have consistent weather patterns, then North Little Rock might not be the place for you. Summer is about the same, but it gets very humid. If you live out west, or if you're thinking of moving to North Little Rock from that area, you might be turned off by the humidity in North Little Rock. Summer usually has temperatures near 90 degrees, and it sometimes stays that way throughout the entire day. There have been some record highs recently, and that's something to think about if you're thinking about living here. So there you have it. These are the pros and cons of living in North Little Rock. If you could think of anything you might feel are pros and cons of the area, please comment below. I'd love to see what you feel about the area. And again, please subscribe if you enjoy this channel. We've really been growing in the past few weeks, and I love seeing the comments roll in. I'll try and reply to everyone as I'm notified by YouTube. Again, this is Stewart, and I'll see you in the next video.